Hi guys, it's Maya, and today I wanted to talk about Wattpad. I'm thinking about making this a series like opinions that no one asked for, but I gave anyway. Um, so yeah, Wattpad, some people love it, some people hate it, a lot of people have never heard of it. So today I'm just gonna kind of be talking about my thoughts on it, and if you're watching this and you have your own thoughts, then comment them down below and we can all kind of share our thoughts. Yay! So my first opinion on it is it's a really great way to share ideas. There are so many different unique stories on there. It's really amazing. Some people do plagiarize on Wattpad, but it's normally pretty obvious. Like this one person tried to copy The Fault in Our Stars and post it under a different name. Maybe she was just trolling, I don't know, but like when something like that happens, it's pretty obvious what they're doing. And there are tons of really unique stories. So yeah, the fact for people like me that I love reading and I read really fast, I have so many books and I've like reread all my books, and so when I discovered Wattpad, it's like a ton of books to read and you can just like keep on reading for days. There's like endless stories on there. And sometimes it's kind of hard to find the good ones, but the good ones on there are really good. The sad thing is most of the good ones are the short stories, and so then once you finish reading them, there's nothing else to do. Yeah. The downside to there being so many people on Wattpad, though, is that there start to become a lot of cliches. If you've read any books like The Worst Book on Wattpad or Worst Story on Wattpad, there are a couple of them. My favorite one, I think, is just Worst Book on Wattpad by Arctic Stars. That's her name. You can see they kind of make fun of it, but it's like if I read one more story, about some shy girl who goes to a party and then ends up falling in love with like the rebel bad boy of her school. But even with those, a lot of them, sometimes they're good. And there can be stories that have no cliches in them and are still bad. Also, I really wish people would stop using abbreviations, because people don't say, I mean some people do, but most people don't say lol or OMG in real life seriously. Can we talk about the gay stereotypes too? I haven't read like a single book yet. Hopefully they exist, but ones that do have gay people often they're like the most stereotypical. Not so much girls, but like the guys. It's always like the gay characters are always like the gay best friend. There's this one really good story. It's kind of the story of of a boy who committed suicide, and afterwards they found out his friends were trying to find out why, and they found out he was gay, and the whole thing was really sad, but it was a really cool story, and it was very unstereotypical, and it highlighted the kind of abuse that they can go through and no one would necessarily know, and some people encourage it, and it's just really sad. At least on Wattpad, everyone is a cliche. Like, girls are cliched, guys are cliched, gays, straights, everyone. And like I said, not everyone does this, just it happens so much it's annoying, especially in like teen romance fiction, which I'm kind of biased against because it's not a genre I like anyway. This is why I stopped Wattpad for a long time, because just so many of the stories there were exactly the same and really predictable. And it's like, sure, they might have a few different outcomes, but you always know the main character is going to end up in a relationship with one of like two guys that get introduced at some point during the story, and when they do, you like know it's going to be that person. And all of it's written the same. And the main characters are always described as like these weird, confusing things, like shy and cute and introverted, but also outgoing and like going to parties, and they get invited to places somehow despite the fact that they don't have any friends. And then talking about cliches brings us to fan fiction. If you like reading fan fiction and you like smut, then Wattpad is the place for you. There's so much of both those things on Wattpad. Half the things on there are fan fiction. And if you've heard of After, it got made into a movie. I don't know if the movie is called the same thing, but that was a fanfic, a One Direction fanfic. There's also a lot of Dan and Phil fanfic. Basically anything. The ones I notice most often are Dan and Phil and One Direction. And it's kind of weird because a lot of them, they advertise by making some kind of sexual story. Like you have a one-night stand with a celebrity, or you get adopted by a YouTuber or something and you end up falling in love with them. But they build up such, like, as much sexual tension as they could possibly build up. And then, like, when they get to the sex scene, they're just like, they don't write it. Or they just write, then they went to a room and they did it. Or they write, like, not gonna write sex scenes. They spend so much time, like, writing foreplay and stuff. It's kind of weird. And a lot of them, you can tell they were written by 12-year-olds. You can just tell. If you're wondering how I read enough fanfiction to know that, research. Yes. So then I am asking myself and answering the question, should people take it seriously? Because a lot of people are just like, oh, Wattpad, that's where the 12-year-olds go, like, psh. Like I said, there are lots of really good stories out there. Some of them are really well written, some of them are really beautiful. You can find something for anyone, whether it is a fan. Even the fan fictions can be actually well written and have a cool plot line. Lots of good plots, lots of good characters. Not everyone's a stereotype. And even the stereotypical ones, like, they're pretty okay at first, but just after you read like 10 of them, you get kind of sick of it. It's like, did just every teenage girl unanimously decide to come on Wattpad and write the same story with different names? Like, but I think it should be taken seriously. Well, fairly. Like, some stuff should be taken seriously. I think that if you're interested in writing or just reading, you should definitely give it a try. And if you don't like it, then that's fine, just don't use it. But a lot of books on there have gotten published, and even though I personally haven't seen any of the books that I've read there in a bookstore or something, I don't know every book that's come out of Wattpad, so it's possible some of them have gone pretty far. And just getting enough attention to be published is pretty big. And it's just a lot of fun because people that want to be professional writers can start out there and get popular. And people like me who enjoy writing but definitely couldn't do it as a profession, we can kind of share our work and get some feedback on it. So it's like, because writing's a lot of work, so I love writing, but I wasn't really interested in just doing it for no one to read. So it's like with Wattpad, you can get people to read it if they want to. You don't feel like you're forcing anyone. And there's no pressure because you can just stop. Although, if people are reading your story and you discontinue it, bad. It makes me sad when people do that. I mean, I guess you have a life and stuff, but I just feel like if you have a book and people are reading it and you're getting feedback on it, and you know people like it, it kind of sucks to discontinue it, because you know what I mean? And like I said about After, sometimes they get made into movies. That's a pretty huge deal. I don't know how much the authors stay involved. I don't know how much money or press or whatever you get out of that, but just knowing something you created got made into a movie, that has to be pretty special. Can't even, like, imagine that. I don't actually even know if it got completely made into a movie. Like, I heard it was being made, but I don't know what happened to it, but I have heard of a few different books that got made into movies, so my point is still okay. Oh, and the social interaction. In case you didn't know, I'm very antisocial. I don't really like interacting with people. Most of the time, it's a little better online than real life, but for a long time online, like, I'm just kind of like, and I'm really awkward. I sound like an old mom or a 5-year-old online. Like, I'm not good at communicating myself through the written language, but Wattpad's a great way to talk to people. I didn't have any, like, really good online friends that I talked to every day, but I did have a few friends on Wattpad when I first started in, like, 2012, 2013, and it was really nice. And it was like you could read each other's stories and you can talk to each other and complain, and it's just cool. And someone even wrote a book that I used to really like, about people that met on Wattpad and fell in love and got married. Wait, they didn't get married, they're teenagers. But they met on Wattpad and they fell in love, and it was really sweet. And I don't think that's ever happened in real life. But yeah, you can make some pretty good friends on there, and it's just nice. And I've become closer friends a little bit with one of my friends who I recently found out how to Wattpad. And we've been talking to each other and talking about our stories. And that's been nice. So yeah, I think Wattpad's a good thing. There are a lot of not great stories on there. There's a lot of stuff on there that kind of belongs on an adult story website, not on, like, a book website, but I mean, it's okay. You don't have to read anything. You can always stop reading something if you don't like it. And sometimes it seems like it's not worth it to go through the search just to find a few good books, but to me it is. Like I said, I love reading, and if I'm bored, like, I'll just read trash for 10 hours straight. I don't really care. Yeah, so if you don't have a Wattpad, you should go check it out. I feel like I should say this is not sponsored by Wattpad at all. I doubt anyone would think it was, but just in case, totally wish it was. So yeah, those are my thoughts. It got really dark in here, so sorry about that. It's like that time of the day when the sun just goes down as you're speaking. So yeah, that was me talking about Wattpad. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to subscribe because why not? You may not think you need more of my face in your life, but you would be right. So subscribe. If you're watching this, then thanks for watching. Bye. Just got so much darker in here while I was talking. Lol. There was another good example. Look at the way the kind of abuse gay people. I don't know why I keep saying gay people like that. But I need to charge my camera. I have notes. I only read it for research. Okay. You might not think you need more of my face in my life,